Hi everybody, how are you? Nice seeing you. Tonight we are talking about two qualities. You know, we speak about opposite qualities usually, and as we're coming closer to Rosh Hashanah, it's very appropriate to speak about these qualities. First quality is cruelty, and the second one is merciful, being merciful. Let's start with the joke that we usually start. So there was this terrorist that escaped from somewhere, and he's wandering in the desert, and he's so thirsty. Desert is a hot weather. He's looking for a drink, and from afar he sees a bizarre scene, something strange. He comes closer. He sees an old man in the middle of the desert sells ties. So he comes to him and he sees that he's a Jew, and he tells him, "I need water. Do you have water?" He tells him, "No, I don't have water. I have ties if you want. It's $5 a piece."
He has what?
Ties. He
Oh,
sells
what
ties.
is ties?
Tie
Gals.
And he tells him, "Are you crazy? You want me to buy a tie?" And you know, they have a very, very bad language. He starts cursing him, and he starts threatening him, and he starts saying all kind of bad words. And he tells him, "I'm sorry, I cannot help you. I would love to give you some water, but I don't. If you want, my ties are 100% are silk, and $5 a piece. It's only good." Again, he starts saying, "I'll take these ties and I'll kill you with them or whatever, but I don't have the strength. I have to keep my strength because I have to look for water." So the Jewish guy tells him, "You know something? Even though you really hate me so much, even though you threaten my life, even though you cursed me, and you say, 'Oh, I'm above this,' I'll tell you where you can find water. You see that hill over there in about, I don't know, 10 miles from now? If you go there, there's a restaurant, a very good restaurant. They can serve you. They have water. They have very cold water. You can really enjoy it." So fine, he keeps saying bad words to him and curse him and whatever, and he walks. He goes until he's not seen anymore. After a few hours, he comes back crawling on four. What happened? They won't let me in. They don't let people go in without a tie. What tie? Okay. So the question is, what is being mercy and what is to be cruel? When do we use? Is cruelty totally, absolutely not good? Is merciful, being mercy is always very good? Okay? Let's talk about these opposites. Let's talk about these qualities and find out. So I want to describe you somebody. There was this man that everybody knew that he liked very, very much animals. His affection to animals was known everywhere. He was a military working. He was in the war at that time, serving as a soldier. And his friends saw him always sharing his plate with these dogs that was wandering and didn't have food, and with some other type of animal. And you see that he had mercy to animals. And as this guy, he became a leader later on. He made sure that people do not make any experiments with animals, okay? And he even established this association of how to learn the psychology of animals and how to look for their welfare and how to take care of them and so on and so on and so on. One of his highest ministers, okay, spoke once about animals and expressed himself in this way. He says, people should not feel any superior, they shouldn't be feeling superior over animals. That's what he said. Another minister of him said that hunting animals is a pure murder of innocent animals. Who were these people? This big leader was Adolf Eichmann. He was the one that really cared so much for dogs and other animals. His very important minister was Joseph Goebbels. He was his minister of public relations, I guess you're going to call it. Propaganda, right. He was the one that declared, you know, what is the Nazism all about. And the other one that said that hunting animals is like pure murder was his highest chief commander of the SS and the Gestapo, Heinrich Himmler. Shem Yashayim Yokav V'Genom. So these people, they thought that they understand, that they care, that they have mercy on animals. What does our Torah say about that? Is it important to take care of animals, to save their life and to feel pity on them? Let's see. There are so many laws in our Torah, and I cannot even describe most of them, that speak so much about how we should work on our qualities, how we should work and be merciful and, God forbid, not cruel. For example, we have a mitzvah that's called to unload an animal of somebody, a friend of yours that you hate, that you don't like. Okay? כי תמצא חמוס הנחל רובץ על מסעו. You know, you have your friend's donkey stuck, cannot move, cannot do anything, and it's your enemies, it's not your friends. It's your obligation to come and help him out. Why? The idea is to put love in between you. Once you're going to work together to free this animal, first of all, it's thinking about the animal, right? Because it shouldn't be too hard on him. Number two, it enhances love between these people. Number two, we're not allowed to eat the blood from the animal. The laws of kashrut, after you slaughter, after this, the slaughtering even, is the slaughterer have to always check his knife. It should be always sharp so the animal doesn't suffer so much, and then we're not allowed to eat the blood. The whole idea is so that we are not going to be cruel, because all the life of the animal depends on this blood. You going and eating that blood, you teach us, you kind of enjoying it, it's not a good quality. Another law that we have, we cannot slaughter in the same day mother and the child of that animal.
How do we know?
Huh?
How do we know?
You have a flock of animals. You have I guess the farmer has a way of knowing father and mother and son or whatever.
Why is that?
Huh?
Why is that?
Again, not to be cruel. Why to kill a whole family in one shot? You know, not to enjoy these kind of things. Another mitzvah that we have is we're not allowed to eat ever minachai. What is ever minachai? To eat an animal when it's still alive. Some people that eat seafood, they just put it a little bit in hot water and take it out, and the animal is still alive. And this is cruelty. This is not allowed. Even it's a mitzvah of Sheva mitzvot b'nei Noach. Even the non-Jews are supposed to perform this mitzvah. Even they are not allowed to be so cruel, to take a piece, God forbid, a leg of an animal and eat it like that, or, you know, when the animal is alive. And some mitzvot that we have in our parasha Ki Tetzei is going to come up. You cannot, whenever somebody is on the road and he sees a bird sits on a nest, some eggs inside, right? You cannot take the bird and the eggs together, okay? it's not good. It teaches you not good. You have to let free the bird, and then if you want, you can take these eggs, but not to do it next to the mother. Okay. Another mitzvah we have is to you don't let two different animals work together in the field. It's intimidating, these animals. Once, let's say, a donkey and an oxen work together, they don't feel comfortable with one another. And you don't let them work. Another mitzvah, lo tachasom shor belisho. Once you're working with the oxen, don't block his mouth from not eating, as it works, not to eat anything from the crops, because the animal suffers from this. All kind of mitzvot. We have, I don't know, hundreds of other mitzvot, just to teach us what does it mean to have mercy. Okay? I want to start with a story. I'll first tell the first part of this. You heard this example. It speaks about Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi was Nasi of Am Yisrael, was a very big rabbi. He was arranging the whole Mishnah. Okay, he was the leader of Am Yisrael at that time. Once he was walking in the street, and next to him, somebody took a calf to slaughter him. Child of a calf to slaughter. So the calf saw the rabbi. Okay, he ran towards the rabbi and starts crying to the rabbi, Rabbi, kind of save me. I don't want them to kill me. The rabbi looks at him and he tells him, what do you want from me? Lech, כי לקח נוצרת. That's you were created for that, to be eaten by other animals, by other people. What can I tell you? They said that in heaven came out a voice, because you did not care, because you were not affectionate to the need of this animal. This animal comes towards you and he asks, and he begs for you to save him. You didn't care? They punished him. For so many years, they said 13 years he suffered from toothaches and some other yisurim, sufferings that he got, just because he didn't care of that animal. And you ask yourself, why? What's the big deal? So it's not his animal anyway. He cannot really do anything about this. And what if this animal comes towards him and asks him? It's not it. But you, as the leader of Am Yisrael, everybody is looking towards you. You're supposed to act a bit different. You're supposed to have some kind of mercy inside you. And therefore, they punished him. I'll come back to it in a second. And I want to ask you, so when is it okay to be cruel? Or is it okay to be cruel? When, or if being mercy is always good, okay? On wicked people, on Rasha'im, okay, it says people should be cruel with them. Why? It says, כל מי שנעשה רחמן במקום אכזרי, סופו שיהיה אכזרי במקום רחמן. קהלת רבה. If your mercy on somebody that you're not supposed to, eventually, okay, you'll be cruel. What does it mean? I'll give you an example about Shaul HaMelech. Shaul HaMelech, his obligation as the chosen king, the first king of the Jewish nation, was to kill Amalek, to kill all this nation. He was able to do it, but then he felt mercy. When he captured the king, Agag, he felt mercy. Why should I kill him? Maybe I shouldn't kill him. Maybe it's not a good idea. Maybe he felt mercy on him. Because he didn't kill him, he was rejected from being a king. Hashem didn't like it. He didn't want him to continue serving as a king, and the prophet Shmuel was supposed to appoint King David instead of him. In another situation, we see that same King Shaul, he was chasing King David because he knew that he will become the king, and it bothered him. So he was chasing after him. At a certain point, he heard that King David is hiding in Nov. Nov was a place, a city, only Kohanim used to live there. And when he heard that the big Kohen over there, he gave him the permission to King David to hide there, he ordered to kill all the people who live there. So many Kohanim, all their families, not only the Kohanim, all their families, children, little kids, big kids, everybody. Hello? You were so merciful to this Agag that from him came Haman Rasha, wanted to kill the whole Jews. And here, when you're supposed to be merciful, only one man maybe, and the big Kohen explained him, I didn't know that you're chasing after him. It wasn't purposely. We didn't do something against you, God forbid, or something. He didn't care, and he killed so many people. And they said that the punishment of Shaul was that he and 3 of his children, of his sons, they died in the war, in the battle, and it was not appropriate way, the way that the Plishtim treated him after his death also. Okay? So here we see that you cannot just be mercy on when you're not supposed to be mercy, okay? And to be cruel when you're not supposed to be there. Once there's a fable, a female dog came to another dog for shelter. She knocks on the door and tells her, please let me in. It's so cold out there. I have nothing to eat. I have nothing to drink. Please let me in. Let me in. The dog felt mercy, and he lets that dog in. After 5 days, she gave birth to 5 little puppies. And now he cannot really throw her outside because small kids, you cannot really tell them to go outside. But for a few months they stayed there, and after a while, okay, this dog, the host said, please leave, I let you stay here, and now you have to go. Yeah, but it's still so cold outside, and please give us 1 or 2 more months, we're going to gain back our strength, and then we'll go out. Once they stayed another few more months over there, they felt too good, and when the dog asked them to leave, okay, they all gathered up, they said, we live in this house, you get out. And they made him, they threw him out of the house. Because sometimes you're not supposed to feel pity on people you're not supposed to, okay? Let's continue talking about this. Cruel people have no mercy. If somebody made something bad to them, that's it. They will keep it in their mind, and the first opportunity, they will avenge with full strength, okay? Sometimes happens that, well, I know, couples do not get along with one another. So they want to go and separate. She takes a lawyer, he takes a lawyer, and they start fighting, and trying to get the best that they can from this, from this in the court. So if she, let's say, knows that he doesn't report all of his income in the IRS, she goes and tells on him. She gives all kind of papers, all kind of documents that he has, that it's not true, he's a liar, he's this, he's that. People do it, and it's very common. If he knows, I don't know, that let's say, if he knows, let's say, that she's working, and she, sometimes they made an arrangement of how much money he will give her, how much money she'll give him, whatever. How you call it? Alimony. So, all of a sudden they report on all kind of stuff, they say all kind of stuff. I remember there was a situation like that. The guy didn't have papers, he wasn't an American citizen, and she did, and once they separated, she went and she made Lashon Hara that is not legal, and he just got married just for the papers, and when people avenge, sometimes she can go to the police and tell all kind of lies about him. He's violent with the children, so they will give it, he won't be allowed to get into the house, and people that are cruel, sometimes it mentions here also, that if they stealing something that belongs to their friends, okay, and this way they upset them. Okay, this is very bad. We know the whole idea with the flood started with gezel. Gezel means, one is taking something that's not belong to him, and judges are not allowed to. They have to be very careful. Whenever they give the verdict, whenever they give the psak din, they have to be careful not to rob. Especially it mentions, be careful with almanot, with widows, and with orphans, because as is, their life is so hard. They're so sensitive, and you have to be merciful to these people, even extra. And here it says about animals, that yes, you should be, there's something that's called tzar ba'alei chaim, and you are not allowed to make stam for no reason animal. You see, we have a mitzvah, we say every day, whenever we pray, we say, ונתתי עשר בשדך לבהמתך, ואכלת ושבעת. First you should give your food to your animals, and then you eat it yourself. First take care of the animals. And the wicked people usually, even if they do take care of animals, they fatten animals in order for the animals to work by them more efficiently. Okay? It says, Tzaddik yodea nefesh be'emto. Tzaddik, the righteous, they give to the animals whatever they need. They don't make it too heavy on them. Fattening and stuff like that, not always it's appropriate. It's not healthy for the animal. So I mentioned before, in the beginning, I spoke about Hitler. Right? He became a leader in a way because he became a leader, but we mentioned that he was merciful with animals. Our great leaders also became big people because they felt mercy. We know King David, we know Moshe Rabbeinu, right? But I'm sure, and you understand, that there's a big difference between Moshe Rabbeinu and this person, that because of him, 54 million people died. They were responsible for their death. This Hitler and all his friends that I mentioned before, 54 million people died in World War II, among them 6 million Jews. What was Moshe Rabbeinu? What was his story? Moshe Rabbeinu grew up in a house of Paro. He was so much higher, in a higher level than all his brothers. All his brothers were slaves. They worked very hard. They didn't have day, they didn't have night, they didn't have nothing. Moshe Rabbeinu grew up as a prince in a house of Paro, okay? And he didn't stay there. He came out. He was seeking, okay, his brother's welfare. This was the beauty of Moshe Rabbeinu. So what happens? Few scenarios. Moshe Rabbeinu sees how two Jewish people fight. It bothers him. He intervenes. Then he sees how a Jew and non-Jew fight. He intervenes. Then he sees how non-Jews, how they fight between themselves. The daughters of Paro and all the other shepherds, okay, daughter of Yitro, and they didn't let them take the water, and he intervenes. And then we see, the Midrash says, that he had a little sheep that ran out of his flock, whatever. He was a shepherd himself, and he runs after this little sheep, and he comes to a spring of water, and he drinks, and Moshe realizes that this little sheep was so tired and was so thirsty. He lets him drink, and then he carries him all the way back to where they started. This is mercy of a leader. Hashem saw that this guy, he doesn't care about himself. You know, he would live in the palace, he would feel comfortable, everything would be okay for him. But Zenika noseh be'olim chavero, he cares about his friends, about other people, about animals even. And, okay, this is the difference. More than that, I'll give you another bigger example. It says about Avraham Avinu that God, Hashem, tested him in 10 different kind of tests. Once he took his wife, once he didn't have food, he was supposed to go from here to there, all kind of tests. The last test, Hashem asked him to go and sacrifice his son in Har Moriah. And after the last test that Avraham Avinu passed, it says, Ata yadati, now I know, ki yireh Elokim ata, that you are fearing Hashem. Hello, you put him in so many tests, you saw so many times that he is really fearing Hashem. Why only Ata yadati? Why only now? So they say that Avraham Avinu, his personality, he was a kind person. He loved helping others. And we see it in so many examples. He didn't only love his family. He didn't only love his nation. He went to war for other people. He went outside to greet some Muslims that is nothing to do with him when he was sick and everything. He went to pray for the people of Sodom, wicked people, bad people, and he was praying for them. So you see that this person is so much into kindness, so much into helping. How many people came into the house? How many people he fed? How many people? Okay? Now Hashem wants to test him. Let's see. I'll ask you to go and kill your son. Can you do something against your nature? You are such a merciful person. Can you go and do something against it? Once Avraham Avinu nullifies his own will against Hashem, this is when Hashem says, you are something special. Because now I asked you to do something against. If you're a merciful person and you give, somebody asks you, give me $1 million and you give me $2 million and you give, it's because of you. You have this kind of personality. What can I do? But now that you do against your will, you're so careful about all the outside people, and now your own son that was born after so many years, you're willing to kill him just for the name of Hashem. You don't think about yourself, you think about what Hashem wants from you. Same was Rachel. Rachel is called the mother of the Midat Al-Chamim. She wasn't, Avraham Avinu was asked to go and slaughter his son. Rachel was not asked to go and give the signs to her sister. She wasn't asked for that. And she did that because she thought, she felt her sister. That was the beauty of Rachel Imenu. And so let's go back to the story of Rabbi Yehuda Hanassi. What do we say? We say, after some time, so his maid was cleaning, she was sweeping the floors, and there was either children of little rats or small mice. So she saw them, and she was sweeping them. She wanted to take them out of the house. Rabbi Yehuda Hanassi said, no, leave them alone. Why? Why do you throw them away? What do you mean? Who needs to wrap? Now, this is a big difference from the first example. The first example was a calf that wasn't his even, was outside, not inside his house. And he said, what do you want from me? I have nothing to do with you. Now these animals are inside his house. Rats or mice, they make damage inside the house. This calf would not make any damage, but these animals, they make damage in the house. Even the most merciful people, they won't keep these animals in the house, these creatures in the house. It's understandable. You don't want to keep them. You don't want them to multiply, to eat your whatever. But once Rabbi Yehuda Hanassi felt their problem, felt their pain, okay, and he went out of his way to protect them, this is when they say in heaven, now that you care about other animals, now we'll take away these sufferings that you had from you. And then he was cured. All of a sudden, no pains, no nothing. Okay? See how in heaven they do care so much how you work on your qualities. It's amazing. When people are trying to work on their qualities, this is a mitzvat aseh from the Torah. And it says, "Vehalachta b'darchav." We have to adapt the ways of Hashem. The way that Hashem is merciful, we're supposed to be merciful. Okay? We have to learn from Hashem, how to be perfect people. It's not easy. But anytime we want to work on a quality, let's say somebody is very greedy. He doesn't like to give donations, charity. He doesn't understand what it is, and he's holding his money next to him. So So the way that the Rambam explains how to work on quality, go to the opposite quality, totally. Teach yourself to give, even though it's so hard for you. You were not used to give $1,000 donation, maybe $10, maybe $5. Give now, big amounts, give this $1,000. Slowly, 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 once you're going to get to a certain balance, then you can find your middle path. You know, give half of this, give less. Okay, not these $5 that really not helping anybody. This is how we usually work on our qualities. This is how we try to change ourselves. Eliyahu Navi, he lived in the time of King Ahab. King Ahab was a very mean king, and he was idol worshipping, and he was chasing Talmidei Chachamim. He didn't like Torah and Torah studies and stuff like that. King Ahab was Melech Israel. He wasn't in Judah, he was in Israel. And Eliyahu Navi meets him somewhere. They had an argument, and Eliyahu tells him, you know something, because you were so not polite and you spoke so against Hashem, I'll declare that there's going to be no rain in Israel, because it says that if you idol worshipping, you know, Hashem will bring no rain in Israel. We read it every day in Kriyat Shema. And he knew that once Ahab is going to hear that, he's going to be upset at him. No rain? What do you mean no rain in Israel? No food, no drink, all the animals. What about all the fruits, all the crops? He ran away and had to hide himself. Hashem tells him, go to this little stream that's called creek, I think, Karit, and over there I'll take care of you. And as he gets there, he tells him, ואת העורבים ציוויתי לכלכלך שם. I ordered the crows, the ravens, to take care of you, to provide for you. The ravens? Since when? The raven is an animal that makes chesed. The raven is cruel to its own children. Once the raven gives birth to its children, to her kids, she doesn't want to provide them. Her husband suspects her that she was with another bird, and she is upset at him, and they don't want to take care of the kids, and Hashem makes a chesed, doesn't matter, and they're able to eat, the kids. So these ravens don't care about even their own children. Now they're supposed to come and help Eliyahu Navi to feed him, to provide for him. Yes, Hashem tells him it goes against their nature, okay, to teach you, Eliyahu, that you also have to change yourself from midat hadin le midat hachamim. Hashem does want that rain should come over Israel. Hashem wants him to do it in a different way. This is a lesson that Eliyahu learned. It's not for now. Anyway, once you learn how to give, how to break your quality, how to care about other people, this is the whole idea of mitzvah tzedakah. This cruelty they mention here, it doesn't mean that you definitely have to harm or hurt people. Sometimes ignoring people and their needs is also cruelty. And Hashem wants us to be noseh be'od, to care, to open our eyes and see who needs what, because this is also called to be merciful. We learn, as we come closer to Rosh Hashanah, if people go to Slichot, you hear Yud Gimel Midot Shel Rachamim, 13 attributes of mercy of Hashem. Bezrat Hashem, once we're going to learn it, I want to give you one example just for how Hashem is merciful with us so much and how we have to learn from Hashem's qualities. Let's give him a shot. Reuven, okay, he took some money from Shimon. He tells him, I need badly the money, please give me some money. And Shimon gives him. Middle of the night, comes some gangsters to the house of Shimon, the one that gave the money, and tell him, Reuven sent us to turn your house upside down. He hired us, okay, to take stuff away from you, to damage your house. And that's what they did. The next day, again comes Reuven to Shimon and tells him, please, I need some money because I need to send some bad people to your house again. And would Shimon consider even giving money to Reuven? Of course not. To come and make me a damage again after I gave you money? What does it mean? So they say one of the things that Hashem is so merciful is Hashem bears the insults that we as human beings insult Him. Hashem gives us strength. Hashem gives us power. Hashem gives us energy. Hashem gives us life. What do we do with all this energy that we get? Sometimes get back. Some people, they go and they sin against Hashem. Who gave you the energy? Hashem. And you take this energy and you fight against Hashem. Isn't that the same thing what Reuven was doing to Shimon? And yet Hashem forgets. Not forgets, He forgives. Once we really ask for forgiveness, He forgives Hashem. This is something that we have to learn from Hashem. Let's finish with an interesting story that I read today. There was this policeman, traffic policeman, that was very, very tough. Always very, very tough with people. So the story was in Israel, north of Israel. They were waiting in one of the intersections. They heard that there's some smuggling, people smuggling, some Arabs, they smuggle drugs from Lebanon to Israel. So they make a stop in the intersection over there, and they check some cars. One car you saw, it was a car that a lot of Arabs usually use. This car, it was very heavy. You saw that the back side of the car is very heavy. So he asked the driver, he stops him, asks him to open the back door, and he's afraid and he's terrified. So he opens, he sees so many people inside, so many people, soldiers, all in uniform. What is this? Please, the driver tells him, these are our Jewish soldiers that just came from Lebanon.